So my name's Carl Lindgren. I'm the founder and managing editor of Map Magazine and the Weekend Edition. And essentially, I have a magazine that tells the stories of people chasing their dreams. So cool to me is, I guess, things that I personally find interesting that have a level of authenticity and history about them. Things that have come from, I guess, a foundation of knowledge and have managed to sort of permeate into pop culture but still have that sort of historical factor. You take Ray-Bans for example, they've been with us throughout time, but I think the time they were designed, they were incredibly cool. Now historically, they are still cool, and they still remain on trend. So it's a bit of a concoction of a few things, but I think that's where the foundation and the history comes into it. I think it's hard to manufacture cool, and when people try and manufacture it, it's generally trite or marketing gone crazy. So I grew up in Papua New Guinea, and my parents were immense inspiration to me. My father was a zoologist and my mother was a teacher, and I guess we grew up exposed to nature on a daily basis in New Guinea, exposed to culture, exposed to the way people lived. I was born in Papua New Guinea, but I didn't actually really start to understand it till I came to Australia and realised how culturally different Australia was. And I think being exposed to that culture, culture in New Guinea led me to understand how rich the childhood I had was, especially when it came to nature. So nature's something that I find incredibly inspirational. There's so much beauty and I guess inspiration in nature that sort of leads to that cool idea. I think without it, products may not sort of go on to become as good as they could be without that inspiration. These glasses which I'm wearing, my Holloways, are one of my most loved possessions, and I say that because I love wearing them. I feel very connected to them, and I love the story that came with them. So these have been been made from old secondhand skate decks from a local crew here in Brisbane, Holloway, and they're the sorts of objects that I find creatively interesting and I guess inspiring in the story and the way they came to be, and yet they're also very connected to nature in their sort of mission, I guess. Yeah, so I mean, it's a bit of a treasure chest to come into the museum and have a look at all these artifacts and bits and pieces. And as the guys were saying, they've got 90,000 pieces just in the New Guinea collection. And for me, it's very familiar territory. This is stuff that I would go down to the markets every day as a kid, and there would be someone either selling or wearing the artifacts or objects that we're seeing today. So from my point of view, there's an incredible amount of beauty in some of the things that are here, particularly the headdresses and a lot of the jewellery that has been made using natural seeds or natural fibres. It's pretty overwhelming, to be honest, because there is just so much here. New Guinea's got 500 and something tribes, I think, so, and each object or piece comes from a different tribe, different region, and has its own different style. So I have to narrow down the sort of regions I would like to sort of focus on and for why. Well, I hope, the main message I would like to convey is just that how important nature is to us as human beings, and then how much knowledge and inspiration resides in nature, and how that can translate to, I guess, in my field, design. And that if we lose these objects, we lose this connection with nature, I think down goes a lot of inspiration as humans. Without museums, we lose that connection to history and the ability to see products and what happened in time. So that's fundamentally important, that we just have museums, but I guess at the same time they have to remain relevant. How do I see museums in the future? I think there's a hybrid between a museum and an art gallery. But I always think that, you know, there should be a museum full of people, and I know this is very contentious, but I could curate an incredible museum exhibition based on, you know, the theme would be, we're going to take 20-year-olds, and we're going to take a 20-year-old from every country. They're going to be on display, and they're going to be able to interact. But if you just were to walk around and around and introduce yourself or talk or just interact with 20-year-olds from every country, I think you'd find how diverse humans are, because there would be different reactions, different answers to questions, environment, conversations, and, you know, they're the things that are really pertinent and important to me at the moment. They always have been, and I think they always will continue to be, mainly because I think, from my point of view, you know, it's just something that we can't afford to lose, destroy, or lose connection with, or it's just, you know, a very different world without our connection to the environment. So restoring that is important to me.